We have found a way to create good-paying jobs in rural Oregon and protect our natural treasures. This legislation can secure the future of our forests and communities, not just for a few years, but for decades. First, the bill sets aside half of the ONC land for forestry and the other half for conservation. So this is a philosophy for natural resources that makes it clear that forest policy ought to be dictated by science and not lawyers. Now, we worked with the best scientists in the Northwest to make these harvests as ecologically friendly as we possibly could. And we listened to the conservation groups who said we need ironclad protections for clean drinking water and Oregon's salmon and unique wildlife.
We want to find approaches to managing these forests that both provide simultaneously ecological benefits and economic benefits, provide them together. And we've put forth ideas that we think helps do that.
Finally, the last thing I want to point out is this is a courageous bill. It breaks with decades of either or. Either you must clear-cut these areas and manage them intensively for wood production, or you must preserve them. And this, in fact, rejects both of those extreme approaches and simply says, you know, yes, we're going to manage some of this for production. Yes, we are going to have wilderness and conserve the old growth, but we're going to define a new path for managing our forest resources, which in fact provides for social benefits while in fact achieving ecological goals.
I think this is good legislation. I think, as Senator Wyden pointed out, this is about a balance. It is trying to break the gridlock that has existed over the last 30 years.
We think Senator Wyden has made the best attempt yet to craft a balanced bill that really tries to incorporate the ecological, economic, and recreational values of these ONC lands.
We're very excited about the legislation. The timber industry talked about certainty, and we do support getting our timber industry back to work in rural counties. We're excited about the certainty for our industry as well. The Oregon's outdoor recreation industry on the sport fishing side has 11,000 jobs. Taking care of these ONC lands is taking care of the jobs that we sustain in our industry as well.
Over 1,400 miles of these ONC lands are home to some of the strongest runs of salmon and steelhead in the Pacific Northwest. We feel proud that there's actually the first time we've ever seen in federal legislation aquatic protections that are specific to riparian buffers and to protect water quality for fish and drinking water.
I would tell them that this bill improves habitat. It improves the forage quality of the landscape.
We have not seen these kind of protections for the lands that sustain the steelhead and salmon producing waters that our state, that's the brand we're known for here, salmon and steelhead. So we're protecting the Oregon brand, we're protecting jobs in the sport fishing industry, the hunting industry, the outdoor recreation, and the timber industry. So we're excited about a win for jobs and a win for protecting what is special about Oregon.
I'm hopeful, Brian. As you know, we're just blessed in this state to still have some healthy runs of wild fish and have these kind of recreational opportunities for hunting, angling, hiking. And I think this bill gives us a real foundation by providing an identity to places that don't often have an identity right now as ONC lands. And once you have a name and a place on a map and a sign and a place where people fish or recreate, we think it's going to be there for their grandchildren. At least that's our hope that this bill can help provide.
And that's a result of too much growth, too much shading, and very bad forestry practices. And so, hunters should be encouraged about this.
You know, we've come to feel that the tough natural resources issues for Oregon basically come down to this. Nobody gets everything they want. Nobody gets everything they believe they deserve. The question is, can we get what Oregon needs? And with the partners that are up here today, I believe Oregonians can agree on a bill that gets folks in ONC country what they need.
This bill, as well as the House-passed bill that was drafted by Congressman DeFazio and Walden and Schrader, are two different approaches to solving the ONC issue, but I think the principles are exactly the same. And in fact, if you sort of take a 60,000-foot view, I think we all agree on the key elements that are necessary to find a solution. And I believe that with these two bills that we are going to be able to build a bridge and find a compromise that works for all Oregonians and hopefully is signed by the President in 2014.